You're doing the work. You meditate, you journal, you do all the healing rituals. So why does your spiritual journey suddenly feel completely flat? It's a quiet feeling like your spirit has paused, but your mind keeps running, whispering that you failed somehow. You haven't. That stillness isn't failure, it's integration. Growth needs silence to catch up. When your current self can't hold the next level of awareness, the universe slows everything down so you can expand into it. This is what people call a spiritual plateau. When you're in the process of outgrowing the old self that used to fit. In the next few minutes, you see 5 subtle signs that you reached this point and how to move through it with awareness. Because awakening doesn't always feel bright. Sometimes it feels like waiting. Let's start where change always begins. When who you think you are starts to feel too small. If this resonates deeply, don't stop here. Download my free guide, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. It reveals hidden patterns that hold back your progress and shows you how to shift them. The link is waiting in the first comment below. 1. When your identity becomes too small for your spirit. This block begins when even your names, roles, or opinions start to feel like clothes you've outgrown. You can sense something bigger underneath, but your mind keeps saying, "Stay as you are." The ego loves what it knows. It calls repetition safety. But real growth starts breaking those old ideas apart. What once felt comfortable begins to feel tight, like trying to breathe in a jacket that's too small. That pressure makes you let go of who you used to be. Here's the tricky part. The new version of you often feels too good to be true. The mind doubts anything that doesn't fit its old limits. You start asking, can I really do all that? Am I really that free? Those thoughts stretch what your ego believes is possible. The mind tries to hold on even when the old shape no longer fits. Saying yes to expansion isn't about losing yourself. It's about seeing who you really are, beyond your old identity. Let it fall away. As your definition of yourself becomes clearer, your outer world will start to shift too. And that can feel strange, but it's just change moving through. 2. When your outer life no longer matches your inner growth. When your inner truth changes faster than your surroundings, almost everything can start to feel a bit off. The places where you used to feel at home can start to feel heavy. Your workplace may repeat priorities you no longer share. Conversations that once came easily with friends can start to sound empty. Even in your community, it can feel like you're speaking a different language, one your old world doesn't really get. It might feel like you're losing touch with everything and everyone, but you are the one who's changing, and your world is simply reflecting that shift back to you. Your inner rhythm shifts, creating a gap between you and the world, and that gap can feel confusing. It pulls you between comfort and truth. Many people try to patch the mismatch, forcing old structures to fit again. But that only makes the tension worse. Real harmony doesn't mean fixing what's been outgrown. It means letting go of what no longer fits. You can't change people or places that no longer match your energy, but you can choose to go where you genuinely fit now, where your growth feels supported and real. Let go of spaces, roles, or relationships that drain you. Every ending makes room for what's next. Maybe that means slowing down in conversation that used to rely on small talk. Maybe your work starts to reflect purpose instead of duty. Maybe you outgrow roles based on belonging instead of honesty. Growth rarely announces itself. It asks quiet questions. Does this still energize me? What no longer fits will fade on its own once your choices match your awareness. And before balance returns, expect a little friction, because the next stage of life often begins by releasing what no longer fits. 3. When the world triggers you to show what still needs healing. After a time of inner growth, life often brings lessons back in front of you. The outside world starts showing you what still needs healing inside you. Old pain may show up in new ways. You might feel annoyed by others, only to find they reflect something in you that still feels tender. When that happens, you might think, I should be over this by now. But that's not it. Being triggered doesn't mean you've gone backward. It means life is helping you see what's still waiting to heal. It's as if sunlight streams through a quiet room and lights up the dust that was always there. You simply weren't ready to see it until now. For example, you might judge a coworker for being lazy. Then notice it's really your own fear of not doing enough. Seeing that clearly isn't failure, it's progress. When you recognize what's happening, your reaction changes. You stop fighting what you feel and begin to meet it with awareness and a bit more kindness. And once you start seeing your own wounds clearly, another old habit can appear. The urge to compare your growth with someone else's, as if there is a finish line you're racing towards. 4. When you compare yourself, you forget your own light. Comparison quietly drains your energy. You see someone else's calm and think they reached some secret level you missed. You start tracking years, methods, and milestones, and forget your own path. The mind loves this game because it feels safe when it can measure things. It tells you that growth can be ranked, that awakening should look a certain way. But it's not a race. Everyone grows at their own pace. Each soul moves through stillness and bloom. When you compare, you step out of your own season. You miss the quiet progress happening beneath the surface, the kind that cannot be seen or shared. Real growth lives in small shifts. Softer self-talk, kinder thoughts, unexpected moments of gratitude. You can't really compare your path to anyone else's. You don't see the whole of where they are or what they carry. Not everything is what it seems, and every soul unfolds in its own unseen way. Come back to your own unfolding and joy will find you again naturally. But before you can feel that, another weight often shows up, the pull of the past. Because when memory starts defining who you are, the present stops breathing. 5. When you let the past define you, your spirit can't move forward. Sometimes the plateau shows up because the past is still running things. Your mind keeps playing the same scenes, old choices, missed chances, the person you once thought you wanted to be. Guilt and nostalgia aren't that different. Both keep you stuck in stories that already ended. You might think you're reflecting, but really you're repeating. Growth can't move through a version of you that won't let go. It's okay to remember, but that's where insight lives. But when you turn old pain into identity, you stop moving forward. Talking about the good old days can feel safe, but it also keeps your energy stuck in reverse. You can't open new doors if you're always staring back at the ones that closed. The past can feed you like roots feed a tree, but you're meant to grow out of the ground, not live in it. Keep what still brings strength and let the rest fall away. The moment you stop trying to hold on to who you were, life opens up again. You breathe easier and realize freedom isn't about fixing what happened in the past. It's about seeing you were never trapped there to begin with. From here, all 5 signs point back to the same place, the quiet center where presence begins. These signs aren't setbacks, they're openings. What feels like being stuck is usually your system taking time to catch up. You've learned a lot, and now your spirit just needs a pause to settle everything in. It's not failure, it's rest. The mind calls it being stuck. The soul calls it integration. So instead of trying to push forward, let yourself slow down. Give growth space to breathe. When you try to force motion, you just tighten the pause. What if the next step isn't about doing more, but allowing yourself to be who you really are, who you already are? Presence isn't something you win or earn. It's something you return to. Every thought that says, I should be further along, only blocks the peace that's already here. When you stop judging the stillness, it starts to feel alive again. Real renewal comes from releasing effort, not adding more to it. You can start small, take a breath, notice you're here. Don't try to make it feel special, peaceful, or deep. Just notice. The more often you let yourself be without fixing or labeling anything, the easier it becomes to feel movement from the inside again. Growth doesn't come from pushing, it comes from relaxing into what's already true. Trust that pace. It's your natural rhythm returning, and what you thought was a pause is really preparation for the next opening. The spiritual plateau isn't a setback, it's pause that helps your spirit find its balance again. You're not disconnected, you're simply making space for the next layer of connection to unfold. Trust this stillness. Let it ground you instead of worry you. Let it show you how to rest rather than doubt. The path hasn't disappeared, it's just asking you to move with more gentleness now. If this message speaks to you, take a look at my free guide, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. You'll find it linked in the first comment below. Your journey isn't ending, it's maturing. The quiet you're in right now might be the doorway to what comes next.